Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, and we do have a guest with us today. But Kelly, how are you doing? What is the book that you're reading right now? I know you're always reading something. What are you? What kind of content are you consuming this week?
Well, first of all, I'm choosing to be great today. I'm choosing to be great, right? I heard a Navy SEAL speaker talk about. By the way, these guys, when it comes to motivational messages or speeches, oh my goodness, this guy was speaking. It wasn't in person; it was over like a Zoom. But he was giving a little motivational speak about your self development and that sort of thing, and extreme ownership. Wow. Like he's talking about buds, their school they go through to try to become a Navy SEAL and what they have to go through. And I knew it was hard. I knew a little bit about it. Obviously I've heard or read books, whatever, but he went in a little more in depth on some things they have to do. And I had no idea. Like, I mean, I was getting like anxious just hearing what they had to do. Right.
Gosh.
And I consider myself a pretty ferocious, lot of grit type person. And I don't know. Right. Like, I don't know if I could do it. I think I could, but I don't know.
That's why they need really great motivational speakers to keep people in it and going. Because otherwise, man, I don't know how you could.
Yeah. But he talked about, accepting failure and that you can be the number one person in SEALs at Buds, right? You can win every single race. And guess what? No one cares. Mm-hmm. No one's going to tell you good job. No one's going to pat you on the back. But you won, and it's noted, but on a sheet of paper somewhere or something, right? But no one tells you anything, and a lot of people choose to be mediocre in this life because they don't have mental grit. They do not train their brain and to basically tell them that they can be uncommon. One of the quotes he said is that something along the lines of, Navy SEALs are nothing but common men or women that achieve uncommon results. Common means anybody could do it. Even me could do it if you train your brain, train your mind, because it's that powerful that you're going to do it, that you will do it, and you will not accept, anything but whatever your goal is to achieve. So it's fascinating, right? I goosebumps stand up. I'm like yesterday going, yeah, I'm going to, and so like every day you got to choose. He goes, you're at war every day. Now, not real war, clearly, but you're at war every day with yourself to not become mediocre. Mm-hmm. You're at war with yourself every day to not become mediocre. And so every day you could choose to crush it one day, but then the next day, guess what you got to do? You're supposed to do it all over again. Yeah. So how do you maintain that and sustain that over a long period of time? Like the only way you can do it is by training your mind. That's the only way. And then, of course, having a big why, right? And it's all part of it, right? Having a big why, a big reason to do what you do, so you'll achieve that goal. And most of these goals are obviously long-term goals. Anything worthwhile doing takes a long time to do. So anyways, I wasn't even going to go there, but like you mentioned, how am I doing?
Well, I asked content. So, I mean, hey, that's some good content you've been picking up lately.
For some reason, I said, I'm choosing to be great today because that's what it is. That's really literally what it is. Do you let your circumstances of what just happened over the last 2 hours today choose how good you're going to be today? Or do you say, you know what, no matter if they're great or if they're bad, I'm still choosing to crush this day and to do great things, no matter what that is that looks like. So I just encourage everybody out there right now, if you just say, you know what, this is hocus pocus and you get off the podcast, it's probably not the podcast for you. But if you're short on time, you got to go right now. You just got some good nuggets. There's better stuff coming up here, but that's some good nuggets in just like, a minute or two. So there you go. Oh, by the way, the book that I'm reading, this is fantastic too. The End of the World is Just the Beginning. Fantastic. It's a long read. I'm not done with it yet. The End of the World is Just the Beginning. And this is not a spoiler alert because there is so much in here, but would you agree or not agree that 95% of Americans are walking around with their head completely in the sand?
100%.
Yeah, okay. Because I think so too. And I don't think I'm crazy, but sometimes I'm a little crazy, right? So I think that that's the case. And that people are walking around with their heads in the sand, just ignorance is bliss, because it kind of is in many ways. But this guy talks about a lot of demographics across the world, and how with demographics, populations and of different decades and through history of time and whatnot, how certain countries will potentially be very relevant in the near future, the longer future, or not relevant at all, that maybe are very relevant today. And a lot of it, goes outside of whatever government policy it is that country has. It's strictly looking at things based upon like demographics, geographical location within the world,
Probably
like
culture, like
yeah, previous wars they fought, and some of it is political, because like China, right? They had people don't probably know this, but they had abortions where they were basically like killing a lot of females.
Forcing it.
yeah.
Forcing it. And so they on purpose, right? Because they wanted this bigger male population. I don't probably for the army or something. I don't know, but like that's what they wanted. And so now that's going to be a problem in the future, not tomorrow, not next year, but it's going to be a problem with because you got to have population growth to continue to be like a world player, on stage.
Well,
So
with China, I
it's
think it was to
fascinating.
control the population. That's what it was, is they were getting too out of control. And so they said you can only have one child, and everybody wanted, to carry on the family name. The boy usually grows up and then they take care of the parents and stuff. So people, probably forced, and people were just choosing, like if they had a girl, it was like, oh my gosh, that's the only kid we can have, and it's a girl. So that sounds like my kind of book, Kelly. I'm all into that.
It's fantastic. So. And then why Japan is done. Japan's done. Not right now, but they will be on the world stage. But also too, what's been keeping them holding on for so long, right? Like things like the fact that they're geographical terrain in terms of how their island sits, with the fact that it's very hard to invade if somebody wanted to. That's why the Americans didn't do it in 1945. That's why they dropped the bomb instead, right? Because it had been very, very challenging, despite overwhelming maybe numbers on the opposite side. So there's just so many fascinating things about this, but you should want to know that no matter what business you're in, especially in real estate, because that's going to dictate trends. So when someone says, hey, how's the market next year? First of all, no one knows. And that's challenging to do, but how it might be in 10 years compared to on the world stage, compared to other, countries, that could give you some insight. And he talked about the millennials, right? Millennials, are a big part of the population. Well, when will the vast majority of them be hitting the workforce? 2030s. That could be a very good thing on the world stage. And so it's just, I won't say any more because you guys need to read it, but it's fascinating, right? And I'm only about a third of the way through. Okay. So there you go. All right, here we go.
All right. Kelly is tons of content for you. Listen to some Navy SEAL motivational stuff, and read The End of the World is Just the Beginning.
The End of the World is Just the Beginning.
All right, there you go. All right, Trevor, welcome to the podcast. We haven't got to say anything yet. Kelly went off.
No.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
We do have Trevor here today. We got Trevor Devney. He is an insurance agent with Milestone Insurance, and we are excited to get into things with him. And we'll talk about how that relates to real estate, because it does very closely. But first, Trevor, I want to know, what are you reading?
So right now I'm reading a book called Rejection Proof. It's actually very interesting. So my aunt gave it to me a couple years back, and it just kind of sat on the shelf for a little bit. But I decided to pick it up a week or two ago at this point, and kind of start diving into it. I'm almost completed with it, but it's a great book, really about how an individual comes from a family where it's very high pedigree, high trust in what they do and things like that. Well, he decides not to kind of go the path that his family wants him to go, does some other things, and then basically he gets just run down by rejection a lot, right? It's one of his major negatives about him, if you could say that. What he does is he goes on a 100-day journey to basically find a no. Right?
Oh wow, I love that.
He kind of, it's very interesting. So it kind of goes all about to, him going to a house down in Dallas on a random Saturday afternoon when the Dallas Cowboys are playing, right? Just knocking on random doors saying, hey, can I play soccer in your backyard? Right? Just to find that no, and ask really why. Why did you tell me no? And I think that's really the main root of the book there is just trying to figure out why, right? Because once you start going through the book and start kind of taking a look at your life, you realize that the no that you got may not be directly presented from you, but there's a whole world of these outside factors involved in
Rarely
that
is.
decision that you don't even know, right? So it's a very interesting book, and it almost changed your perspective a little bit to kind of take a little bit more of a holistic approach to things rather than specified, let's go right to point A to point B.
Rejection proof.
Yep.
Oh,
Rejection.
I'm gonna read that. I have
That
not
sounds
read that
great.
one. And that's
It's
love it.
so good.
Okay. That's going in the Audible account for our team. We're gonna have a book club. We're in it.
Perfect.
All
Love
right.
it. Great. Well, now that you guys all have your, your month's worth of content that you should pick up and read and listen to and all of that right now, let's kind of dive into the podcast. We want to talk. Well, we have talked a lot about in various podcasts relationships, right? Relationships are super, super important. We've talked about relationships with your lender, relationship with, various vendors. I think a couple of times ago, we talked about like builders and, their salespeople and stuff like that. One we haven't touched on though is insurance. And I think that as with any relationship in real estate, it's really important to find, your one person or your go-to person that you can refer out to, can help you understand to answer questions for clients better, everything like that. So today we're kind of gonna get into into why you should have a trusted insurance person in your little black book of friends.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's so true. You really should, guys. First of all, you should always have your team assembled. And when I say team, obviously I'm a big fan of building a real estate team, but if you don't have that, forget that for a second. You should have your team of vendors / partners that help you sell more real estate. But really, how do you do that? You do that by servicing your clients at a very high level, which means you have to have good partners around you. So insurance is one of those. A lot of times we know title / escrow, we know lenders, maybe a home inspector. Those kind of like the big three. But you have home warranty companies and you have contractors and things of that nature. But rarely do people talk about insurance. Now, I know lenders typically, are kind of a little more, hand to hand with the insurance guys and gals, but real estate agents should be more proactive on that, in my opinion, like we are. So we partner with Trevor and Milestone Insurance. He has several people that he works with, actually more than that, that make up Milestone Insurance. And we are a joint venture with Trevor and his company. And it is awesome. And it's awesome primarily because we have someone in our corner that is able to do a lot of things that we don't have to worry about doing. And we know that when he calls them, he'll take great care of them. And ideally try to save them money. That's the whole point, right? Try to save the money. So Trevor, thank you for joining us on our podcast today. And I'll ask you just some questions here that I want to dive right in, but let's just do just that. So that being said, Trevor, real quick, just the background, how did you get to be in insurance and why?
So if you ask anybody in the insurance industry why they're in insurance or how they got there, they'll straight up tell you I fell into it. That's every single body. Nobody ever really grows up thinking it's what I want to do, right? I grew up thinking I wanted to be a fighter pilot jet or fighter jet pilot. Sorry about that, right? So it was one of those things where it was after college, the path that I decided to go through during college, agricultural wise, really quite working out. I didn't see myself being in there in the absolute long run of things. So I really just opened up my horizons of looking for a career path, right? I was with Farm Bureau for about 1.5 years, 2 years in the captive side of things. That's how I got into it. And I learned a lot truly from that experience. We are a contracted, agent at that point. So we've got all the freedom in the world that we want. Right. And that's something that's super important to me. I don't have any kids yet, but when I do have kids, I really want to be present in their lives. So just having it where it's flexible enough for me to do what I need to do outside and keep that work-life balance is super important to me. And the other thing too is that a lot of times insurance is commission-based, right? So I'm a true believer of you get what you get, right? You work for things and you get that. So being commission-based, I really can't be upset at anybody else if my paycheck isn't where I want it to be, besides myself, right? Kind of going along the accountability that we were touching on a little bit earlier. So, it's one of those things. And I did even take a little break. I moved up to Colorado for a winter. I was a ski instructor up at Keystone and came back. And I decided, this is where I want to be. I love insurance. I love interacting with individuals. I like learning the stories, and I just love being of assistance, right? Period. At the end of the day, I just truly like helping people. That's how I can sleep at night. So it's one of those things where, the insurance field gives me flexibility for things. It gives me the human touch that I kind of need in my life of other people. But at the same time, it also keeps me accountable, right? Because I get paid what I earn. It's not I'm
So,
just sitting on the couch or anything.
so first of all, that's a great title, from Keystone Ski Instructor
Yep.
to insurance agent, right? Like what a that's awesome. Okay,
Absolutely.
so real quick, Trevor, explain real quick the difference between active, or I should say independent, and captive insurance, and
Yeah,
what you
absolutely.
feel is
So
the best one.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So captive is, the state farms out there, right? State Farm, Farmers, Farm Bureau, things of those nature where they are really constricted to one policy. That's it. Independent side is we're basically a brokerage, right? Which is the nice thing. The good thing about independence is we actually work for the customers, not the carrier, right? Because if the carrier is not doing what we want it to for the customers, guess what? We've got another 20, 30 that we could put you with.
Mm.
And we'll find something that's good for you, period. Instead of making one policy, basically making you fit into a policy, we make the policy fit around you on the independent side of things. So, especially, with rates and everything, they're always adjusting, period. So, they never really go down. They always go up. So if you do go up, say sign you up for a policy 2-3 years go by. Hey, I noticed my policy went up 30% this year. Oh my gosh. Let's take a look into what other options we have right now. So we've got a lot more options for you, a lot more flexibility on that side of things. And really, at the end of the day, independence the route to go. Just because, as the customer, you get multiple options, right? You've got multiple avenues to walk down. In my position, I can truly work for the client, not that carrier. Which is great for me. I don't like being tied down or having to do something, right? Especially if it's not in the best interest for the client. So it really lets me focus on the needs of the individual, not the carrier.
Got it. Okay, so there's a show on the Discovery Channel, I think, a while back, or some channel called Mythbusters.
Yes.
Right. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. So we're gonna play Mythbusters right now. Is there more than one? I can think of one right now. I'm just gonna tee up on this one, Trevor. But like the whole thing, the whole concept of if I sign with a policy advisor or independent insurance agent, whatever, right? And it's a policy, and I pay 12 months up front or 6 months, whatever it is, and away we go. And it's with some company, and all of a sudden I find out I can go with this other company and I can pay less. Can someone just switch anytime they want to without penalty and hassle?
About 98, 99% of the time, absolutely. Right. There are one or two carriers out there like Progressive. If you sign up for a 6-month policy, it's your first term with them. If you're doing monthly, say you cancel that policy halfway through the month, you won't be returned that amount, basically, because that's kind of their captive of it. But other than that, I mean, it's about a 99% chance where we can just roll you on over. You'll get a refund check for the premium you've already paid, and everyone's happy, right? You get a little bit.
So is there any downside then to having somebody just get a quote from another insurance agent anytime?
No, absolutely not. There's never a downside, right? You being a client, you got to make an informed decision, right? The best way to do that is to get multiple sources telling you the same thing. That's how you get to that informed decision. So, there really is no downside to shopping around. There's no penalties to it. It doesn't affect your rating, doesn't affect your premium, anything like that.
That's outstanding. Can you think of any other myths that someone might think of when it comes to insurance?
Yeah. So one that I get a lot is, the towing and labor coverage, right? A lot of people think that they're not going to be rated for it if they use it, and that's really false. If you use your towing and, coverage, roadside assistance, things like that, if you use it once a year, you should be fine. Don't worry about it. If it's 2-3 times a year, well, they're going to start rating. So instead of doing that, you could always go to AAA, get a membership, do their roadside assistance. Their basic plan is $60-$70 for the full year, and it protects you against 3, 4, 5 years of premium increases after using those towing and roadside services.
Interesting. That's a good one. That's good. How about
and that always catches a lot of people off guard as well.
Yeah. How about umbrella policies? I bet you a lot of people don't have those. Do you think those are very important?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think umbrella policies are almost crucial. Every client I have, every prospect, I definitely ask, and we have that conversation, right? Umbrella policies are really just an excess of liability. So you've always got your liability coverages and limits on your home and auto coverages there, but the umbrella is really just excess of that. So, say you've got 100,000 on your home liability, which is low, and you do have an umbrella, somebody trips, falls, hip breaks, hip goes, well, it's probably going to be a little bit more than that 100, especially if they had some back issues as well. So that's where that umbrella really kicks in and really protects you against the run of things and those bigger instances, right? I mean, insurance is not for the little, oh, I was going 2 miles an hour and I backed up into a pole. I've got a scratch on my bumper. That's not what it's there for. It's there for situations that are big, may get you back on your feet as soon as possible.
Got it. That's fascinating. Okay, so on the real estate side, I know there's a couple of things that what can you do? Why is it important to have an insurance partner if you're a real estate agent? And what are some things that you can do to maybe, I don't know, just assist with helping make a real estate agent's life a little easier when it comes to helping them with their business and their clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the real estate side of things, I mean, to be honest, you can't close on a home. Doesn't matter if that's the loan or real estate side of things if you don't have insurance, right? So to put it as cut and simple, it's right there. You got to have insurance to close.
With a loan, right? If it's
Yep.
cash, you could, right?
Yeah, then you're good. Then you're
Yeah,
good.
it's cash.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is one of the things there. But on the other side, it's always good to have somebody that can pull clue reports, right? See the claims that have been on the home the past 5-7 years. That's always crucial to know, right? Other than that, really just having another trusted source is always a good thing, right? Connections are what make people successful. I'm sure you've heard it. It's not what you know, who you know type of situation. But it's one of those things where I've got people, hey, guys closing in a week. His insurance policy fell through last minute. Is there any way you can get this done right now?
Yes.
I can push stuff off for an hour and a half, finish that after work, after hours, at home. But let's get this taken care of right now for you. So just that piece is really a crucial part in my mind.
That's huge. Okay. And where are you in Milestone? Where are you guys licensed? And so if there's an agent that's outside of, Arizona here, what are the states you're licensed in? Because maybe they are looking for a good insurance partner. And I'm assuming you'd be willing to obviously talk to them, maybe take them on, correct? To be an extension of their team?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we'd love to help out any way we can. So right now, Milestone is licensed in Arizona, Nevada, Iowa, and Indiana, right? So some of the bigger states there, but we are part of a CJIG group, which is licensed in about 32 different states.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. So with that being said, if out of those 4 states, still contact us, right? We've got a couple different other agencies that are under that umbrella that really can get to that area. And if not, like we won't do Florida, we won't do California. That's just too hot for anything insurance right now. A lot of quotes are even getting denied down there. So, but yeah, the 4 main states are Arizona, Nebraska, Iowa, Indiana, but then we also have those auxiliary kind of outlets for anything else.
okay. Well, so I tell you what, guys, if you're in one of those 4 states and you're looking and you're the right partner, the right fit, obviously it has to be a good fit for Milestone and a good fit for you.
Yep.
But if you are and you're looking to possibly start an insurance business and you want the easy button and not have to, go do it from scratch, contact Trevor, contact Milestone, because there's a chance that possibly you could jump into some sort of joint venture opportunity and start having another business in which you are not operating within, or you have to worry about selling real estate. They take care of all the insurance stuff. You just are potentially maybe a partner in terms of, your clientels and clients getting extra quotes and things of that nature with Milestone. So keep that in mind, guys. Give us a call if that's something that would maybe interest you. And I'm sure Trevor would be happy to have a conversation with you. So Trevor, this has been great. I want to ask the question now, what's one tidbit that maybe you could give somebody, even though they're maybe in the real estate industry, right? Not insurance, but maybe it translates. that they could maybe implement in their business and as a takeaway to start implementing in the next week or so, that they should probably take action on quickly?
Absolutely. So, it's just basic person related, one little tidbit is to go shop around, get some different rates, right? On the personal side of things, it's never a bad idea. Trust but verify type of rule there. On the business side of things, I'm a big guy of effective meetings, right? So here we've got 2 meetings every day, one at 9, one at 1, and they last no more than 15 minutes. It's a quick, here's where everyone's at. Here's the numbers for the week. This is what we're going to push through for the rest of the day, or this is what we're going to get through today type of situation. But just having everybody on one playing level field really, really helps the team just coerce together, things done at a lot more effective rate.
I love that. A meeting rhythm, right? That's consistent. Love that.
Very consistent.
Consistent and not excessive for no reason, because we've all been there where we're at a meeting and there's nothing, and so you're just trying to come up with other things and just kind of wasting everybody's time. So a good effective meeting rhythm, keep them short. If they're only this short, keep them that short. You don't need to drag them on for any other reason. So that's awesome.
No, and sometimes they only last 5 minutes, right? But that's just that little bit of confirmation in the back of our heads that everyone's on the same page still. Let's keep rolling.
I love that. That's awesome. One last thing then, I just thought of. So is a general rule of thumb that if you had the same insurance carrier, like Progressive or Liberty Mutual, whatever, for a long period of time, the longer period of time, possibly the more you're paying, that you could get cheaper elsewhere?
Absolutely. Yep. So honestly, and I don't like this
care
at all,
about loyalty.
Yeah. But people sleep on their insurance policies. They really do. And I get it. I've done it as well. So it's the last thing on your mind all the time. And if it's not on your mind, right, a lot of time too. So, especially on the home product side of things, a lot of these policies have inflation riders built in where it'll automatically increase the value of your dwelling, right? That's good and bad. Good to keep up with the times, but bad because sometimes that percentage rate increase could be just atrocious for what it is. A lot of times if I have a prospect come in, they've been at the same carrier for 5 years, I'm happy because it's an easy win, right? They've slept on it for so long, right? And they usually don't know what's going on with their policy anyway. So I really like to take that advisor role, more of an educator role of saying, hey, let's take a look at what you have now. Here's what's going on in your current policy. I did take a look into, I quoted out through all of our carriers. This is my best option. I've also got option B. Let's discuss these real quick and figure out what really suits you the best and which route we're going to go.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Take us home, Elizabeth. That's all I have.
All I have to say is I'm actually in the same city as Trevor, so I think that I'm going to have to schedule a meeting because I've had the same insurance for as long as I've had insurance. So
Sleeping.
So yeah, I am. Got it all bundled with the house and everything, but I'm probably losing money, so I need to make a meeting with Trevor. But yeah, just to kind of wrap this all up, as has been a theme in our podcast, as a real estate agent, you really do become that trusted advisor for your clients in almost every aspect of real estate, which includes insurance as a part of the process of closing. And so it is really important for you to be able to connect to your clients. You're the hub, you got to be the connector. And so that's why it really is important to have an insurance agent that you trust and is going to take good care of your clients so that when they ask you, you have somebody ready to go. But with that being said, Trevor, for myself as well, but if anybody has any questions about, partnering with Milestone, where can they reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can reach me on email at trevor@milestoneinsuranceco.com, right? That's probably the easiest way there. Other than that, I do have some phone numbers here for you. So the Milestone phone number here, the phone that I've got is 602-341-86, our office number. Or, if you'd like to reach out to me directly, which I've got no problem with, you've always got my personal cell phone number, which is 402-215-6923. That would probably be the best routes to go for contact.
Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on. And Kelly, if anybody has any questions for you about, kind of how you got connected with Trevor, how they can find somebody in their area, or anything else real estate related, where can they call you?
Yeah, as always, you can shoot a text, give a call, 480-227-2028. Text is obviously preferred there. But Instagram, Kelly Cook Homes, at Kelly Cook Homes. Check us out on Instagram. And then I just want to make sure, Trevor, they heard that right. It was Trevor at milestoneinsuranceco.com, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There's a little co at the end there.
Gotcha. All right, perfect.
Cool. And if you guys are looking to start your real estate team, further than just, your team of vendors, but actual agents on your team, please go to buildyourrealestateteam.com and follow along with the guide. Kelly wrote it all out for you so that you don't have to think too hard about it. So go there. And other than that, guys, we will see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Bye.
Thanks, Trevor.
Thanks, Trevor.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.